Good day or night, whatever time zone you are going to see this right now. But most likely you're probably watching this at night because there's an exam upcoming tomorrow, right? Okay, anyways, so a quick review on our last lesson. I recommend to watch that before watching this. But if you're focusing on this topic, don't watch that. But yeah, a quick overview about that. We have the topic we have is overview of anatomy and physiology. So we talk about anatomy. It has two forms: gross anatomy and microscopic anatomy. So gross anatomy is what we can see with our naked eye. It has three different branches: surface, what inside us our skin; regional, on a specific region. For example, the head. Systemic, it's focused on our system, like for example, digestive system, integumentary system, okay, so on and so forth. Next is microscopic anatomy. So microscopic anatomy cannot be seen within our naked eye. It needs some kind of equipment, um, a microscope or so on and so forth. So we talk about that. Cytology, study of cell; histology, study of tissues, because here's a comparison. This is the brain, this is the neuron cells. Next is physiology. We talk about that. So that's the study of functions of an anatomy. So let's go on our main topic here. Structural organization of the human body. Okay. If you're watching this, I'll give you a heads up. So our schedule here would be Monday and Friday. Okay. I'm gonna post videos on Monday and Friday. I don't know what time yet, but I guess just look. Yeah, so, anyways, let's talk about the structural organization of the human body. So, do you know the cell theory? So, basic principles of cell theory is that cells are building blocks, and that includes plants and animals. And it's also stated that cells are produced by the division of pre-existing cells through mitotic division. Like for example, cells are the smallest structural units that perform all vital functions, and we will examine the cell in much more detail. Okay, next. So we have here the levels of organization. So this is like kind of a pyramid here, starting from the very smallest to the very greatest, I guess. So first, the the first cellular level, the smallest unit of life, and it varies widely in size and shape according to the cell's functions. So, if we look at these levels of organization here, we can see that we have the chemical level. So here we have hydrogen atoms and oxygen atoms that makes up a water molecule here. Makes a water molecule. So the chemical level is the least and most complex level, composed of atoms, which are, if you to chemistry, is the smallest stable units of matter arranged to form molecules and compounds that possess functional properties. Yeah, so that's it. Atoms are the building blocks of matter. Now, when those atoms combine, those atoms will become a molecule. Like for example, two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atoms form a water molecule, most likely known as H2O. Alright? Alright. So, then these molecules combine to form the cellular level. And those molecules be will be made, will be combined, will be formed, will be mixed into an organelle. So what's an organelle? So there are the basic units of cell. So if we zoom in here, as you can see, we have here, oh okay, there's something wrong. You can see here, we can see the organelle there. So what do we call this? So organelles are the basic unit of living cells. So at the cellular level, we can examine the interactions of molecules and compounds to form the organelles. So organelles are like the parts of the cell. We have the ribosome, the nucleus, the Golgi apparatus, so on and so forth. So cells, again, they are the building block of plants and animals. We have cells in that. Plants also have cells, but in a different form. Okay, then next is we have is the tissue level. That's where cell form to mix into a tissue. Okay, so take note that tissues are groups of similar cells, and the tissue level is a group of cells that have a common function. So like these are cells that work together to perform one or more specific function. One example is the muscle tissue. Well, that's the example here, smooth muscle tissue. The nerve tissue, from the word itself, nerve, is on the brain, connective tissue. That's what makes us move, connects, and the epithelial tissue. Next, when those tissues form together, they form an organ. An organs contain two and more types of tissues. So the organ level is made up of discrete structures that are composed of at least two groups of tissues that work together to form a specific function of the body. So example here is I think this is what call this, the bladder, the urinary bladder. So as you can see, we have here the skeletal muscle and the smooth muscle. They form into this kind of stuff. This is the organ of bladder. Now next, when we have multiple organs together, they form into an organ system level. Then this is um, a group of organs that work closely together, and they have different purpose. And the type of tissues that comprise these organs and organ systems perform vital functions, essential functions of the body. So this is an example of an organ system. So this is the urinary tract system, the excretory system, or the urinary system, what we call even that. So here we have different kinds of organs. So as you can see here, we have the kidney, that's an organ, the ureter, that's an organ, the bladder, that's another organ, and next is the urethra. So those are different kinds of organs and they form a system. Okay, next is the organismal level. There's many organ systems. Many organ systems work together and they form an organism. So that's us now. That's us now, right? That's us. So this is the highest level. This all the total of all structures working together, and to promote the stability on our body, or what we call homeostasis. And we will be examining our organ system, and we're gonna study throughout all of these courses in anatomy 1 and anatomy 2. So first we have the integumentary system. So uh so we're gonna talk about this in chapter 5. So organs, so or integumentary, so we have the basic parts. It's the head, I mean the hair, the skin, this is the skin, the nails. So that's basic parts. It can be seen on our thing. So this is like the functions of it is for external support, protection, temperature regulation, and a barrier for immune function. Because if we don't have any skin, we're gonna look a bit weird. Yeah, we're gonna be a bit weird. So yeah, integumentary itself, the external support and protection of the body. Of course, we also need some even more protection. And now this is what we call the skeletal system. We're gonna talk about it in chapter 6 to 9. So basic organs of the skeletal system are the bones. All of these are bones. The cartilage, joints, what makes the bone move. Okay, so basic functions of the skeletal system is the internal support, because if we only have the integumentary system, we would bleed very hard, and we might die. We don't have any of this more protection. um and it's like a flexible framework for body movement, and also bones makes blood cells and a bit of storage. So it's not just only for protection. We also have different types of it, different types of functions. So yeah. Next, of course, if we only have bones, we would have minimal movement, right? Of course, we also have our muscles. So this is the muscular system, chapters 10 to 11. A bit, it's a bit going on, but we'll try to get there. Organs, we have skeletal muscles, and the tendons. This is the biceps and the triceps, and functions is for movement, muscular for cells, muscular muscle, and it also helps maintain temperature. Like here, what states here, body heat production. It also gives support. Support. Yeah. Okay. So we have made our stuff some essentials, but we also need more essentials. Of course, in chapters 12 to 16, we're going to talk about the nervous system. If yes, we can move, but we cannot move if we don't have a brain, right? Because that's what makes us think for us to move. So, our basic organs of the brain, there we have the brain, the spinal cords, and peripheral nerves. Heads up, we have two different types of nervous system, the peripheral nervous system and the central nervous system. Okay? Just a heads up. Okay, so in the basic functions of the nervous system is they detect stimulus. Stimulus means like a jerk. It detects processes and sensory information. Our brain has stores a lot of information. It responds to stimuli, like for example, someone taps you, you can feel it, right? So that's the function of the nervous system. When you feel it, we have like these nerves. For example, I am going to tap you in these nerves. Then it will set a very quick transfer of signal into the brain, here. So if we have that, that's now what we have. So it also coordinates activities of the other organ systems. All right. Next is the endocrine system, chapters 17. So these are like, so some organs is secreting glands. Where is it? Here we go, glands. So we have the thyroid gland, pituitary gland, adrenal gland, pineal gland. We also have a pancreas. We have the testes for male, and we have ovaries for female. Okay, so what is the basic? Why do we need the endocrine system? Of course, we need this for secretion of hormones. Hormones like, for example, dopamine. Dopamine makes you happy, so like that's why we call happy hormone. That's which hormones acts like a signal to other parts of the body, regulating body processes. Like for example, if you're a female here, like for example, birth, you're going to give birth. So for of course, it's very hard to give birth. So the endocrine system gives a little bit of ease for you, right? It gives a little bit of ease for you. And with that, our body really, your body, not my body because I'm a man, but for example, a woman's body, when giving birth, it releases oxytocin to help you ease and to give the child more birth. Next, circulatory systems, chapters 18 to 20. So, basic organs is the heart. We need we need it to survive. We have also the blood. Yes, yes, blood is an organ, and we also have the blood vessels where it transports blood. So as you know, blood transport nutrients to cells and transport waste products to cells from cells rather, and it maintains homeostasis. Yeah, okay, so basic stuff. Circulatory system, because our blood circulates throughout all our body. That's why it's called the circulatory system. Next is the lymphatic and immune system, chapters 21. So here we have lymphatic nodes here, the spleen, the thymus gland in our neck, and lymphatic vessels. It also includes bone marrow and tonsils in our mouth. And the basic functions of the lymphatic and immune system is to return extracellular fluid to the blood. It houses immune cells. Immune cells provide protection against diseases. It absorbs lymph. I mean, it transports lymph. That's why it's called lymphatic. And it absorbs transport fats. Okay. Next up is okay, it defends against pathogens. Pathogens are like um bad cells. Your immune system is going to fight for it. Next we have is the circulatory system. I mean, we've done that. Next is we have the respiratory system, chapters 22. So of course we need air in our body to survive. So this is what the respiratory system is for. So we have here the lungs, the trachea, and the nasal passages. So our basic functions on our respiratory system is gas exchange, oxygen gas and carbon dioxide gas between air and circulating blood. So it removes carbon dioxide from the body. It delivers oxygen it delivers oxygen to blood. So cars, we inhale oxygen, right? It goes into your lungs, and some parts of your lungs is going to that, excrete that, and give you carbon dioxide. So the plants will get that carbon dioxide and give oxygen to you. Okay, okay, that's what gas exchange is. Okay, next is the digestive system, chapters 23 to 24. So organs, so the basic organs, of course, we need to eat, right? Okay, so basic organs, salivary glands. It helps make your food a little bit smooth. We also have the esophagus. This is esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, liver, gallbladder, and etc. And it functions is for intake, for food, absorption of food, acquired nutrients, minerals, vitamins, and water, as well as as the elimination of feces. So when you eat, it goes into this kind of system, and it goes out to make poop or feces rather. Okay, so next is of course when we have digestive, we also have that for food. We also have for water, which is the urinary system. And here we have the urinary system. So this is chapters 25 to 26. So basic organs are the kidneys, urinary bladder, and the urethra. Okay, it functions of the urinary system is to control water balance in our body. It filters and removes blood, filters the blood and removes nitrogenous waste, and eliminates excess water, salts, and waste products, and controls pH level and electrolyte balance. It controls water balance in the body, and when we drink water, it goes out right here. It eliminates excess waters. That's what we call urine. Okay. So next is the reproductive system for male. Chapters 27, basic organs. So this is the reproductive system is kind of different for male and female. So these are like the private parts of our body. Chapters 27. So basic organs is testes, scrotum, prostate, glands, seminal vesicles, epididymis, and penis. And basic functions. The delivery of sperm cells. That's what makes a baby. The production of sex hormones. I forgot, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's testosterone. Okay. Next is the reproductive system for female. Last reproductive system we're going to tackle in this lesson. So basic organs of the reproductive system of female is the ovaries, uterus, mammary glands. Okay, so mammary glands is actually not. So we were saying the reproductive system of a female is on this side, right? But also, they also have glands in their breast. So functions is this production of egg, the secretion of sex hormones, copulation, and the support of fetus in infant. So female reproductive system is much more complex than male. Okay, it's very complex as we have the period cycle. We also have the delivery of babies, which is very complex. So we have here that this the uterus. It supports embryo or the fetus, and the mammary glands produces milk for infant. You know, our body is very, very complex and very, very nice at the same time. Okay, so that's it for our structural organization of the human body. So I'll give you a heads up for the next lesson of our lesson. We're going to talk about the functions of human life. We're going to talk about organization. We're going to talk about metabolism, movement, responsiveness, development, growth, reproduction, and so on and so forth. So that's like it's it. So it's very quite a lengthy lesson, but this is one of my favorite lessons so far. That's like a heads up for our next couple of topics in this course. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in our next lesson.